At long last, I am proud to present to you my top 20 teams of all time list for Dota 2. My name is Badger, also known as Badger Pablo, and we are about to go on a very long journey. So first off, what do I consider to be the criteria for how do I rate the top teams in the world? First off, a team's peak and a team's consistency both matter to me. They're both essential parts to my formula for how I decide which team is the best. I consider a team's placements in the top 4 of our tournaments to be important. This shows a bit of consistency and it shows the ability to go deep in brackets consistently. A higher percentage of this is good, obviously. I consider best of 5 and best of 3 series wins over other top 10 ranked teams of the era as important. I.e., can you beat the other contemporaries of your time in that era? I'm not going to take any placements at face value. A second place and a second place aren't always the exact same thing. It comes down to who do you beat to get 1 second versus the next, and so on. So I'm going to use context. I'm going to use context as a very important factor on how I rate placements. And finally, the last term I'm going to consider for these rankings is the first major of the new major circuit, ESL Hamburg 2017, which means Dota Pit, the most recent one, will not be counted. Otherwise, every tournament from the first ever one, TI1, to the most recent one, ESL Hamburg 2017, will be counted. So, to lead off, at number 20, we have the young CIS team. We have Virtus.pro. They are one of the few teams on this list that is currently active. It's made up of Ramsey666 at the carry, no one at the middle lane, 9 Pasha in the off lane, Little at support, and finally the captain, Solo, also at support. They've placed top 4 in 5 out of 9 tournaments, that is 55.6%. Their series record in best of 3 and 5 is 22 and 10, which is 68.8%. No, they're pretty good. They're fairly good at Dota. They're a very exciting team, and looking over at their placements, they're a bit up and down. Obviously, they've won a couple tournaments. They've won multiple summits, being the Summit 6 and the Summit 7. At both of these tournaments, they took a lot of great names. At the Summit 6, they 3-0'd OG, they 2-1'd OG, they 2-0'd Wings, they 2-1'd eHome, solid wins. Summit 7, 3-2 Secret, 2-0 LGD, 2-0 Team NP. They 2-1 Digital Chaos, and they 2-0'd Empire. Despite, they did lose one set to LGD 1-2, but still another tournament win. In addition, they won the first major of the new circuit. They won ESL Hamburg 2017. They had a good showing there. They looked good in the groups. They went 3-1 there. In the brackets, they beat Newbie 2-1, and they beat Secret 2-0 right after a Team Liquid victory. However, it hasn't been all up for them. They've had some other decent placings, such as the 3rd to 4th place at ESL Genting. And the thing is, they didn't have the best losses there either. They lost to Newbie in the groups. In addition, in the bracket, they lost to Digital Chaos 0-2. And DC were a decent team at the time, but maybe like 5th to 6th best at best. They weren't some world beaters. So a bit of a rough loss there, but still pretty decent placements. We've had some other rough tournaments, such as Epicenter 2017, but if we're being honest, I think the Epicenter loss isn't that bad, even though it is a 5th to 6th place placement. They lost to Liquid in bracket, and Liquid went on to win that tournament, so it's not that bad of a loss. Looking over at the older Valve events, the 2 majors from the old circuit, back when there were only 2 majors a year rather than 11, are the Boston Major and the Kiev Major. Chronologically speaking, the Boston Major was the first one. They had very bad bracket luck in that one. They happened to face, it was single elimination, which is very unfortunate. I think single elim does not always allow for the best teams to win out in the very end. But overall, they end up beating IGV 2-0. They're a better team than IGV though. But then they face Evil Geniuses, who are just hot off of a Wings Gaming win, and EG they beat them 2-0. So Virtus.pro only a 5th to 8th at that major. Virtus.pro, they were on the stack side of the bracket with Wings, with OG, with EG, very, very big hitters here. Had Virtus.pro been on the other side of the bracket, that Ad Finum happened to win out on, they could have gone top 4, they could have gone to the finals. There's no knowing what they could have done. But overall 5th to 8th. In the R Major though, in the Kiev Major, they got 2nd place, and this is a very, very impressive major from them. In the group stage, the Swiss style brackets, they looked very, very good. They went 6-1 in game score. In the actual bracket, they once again beat up IGV 2-0. They beat VGJ 2-1. They beat Invictus Gaming 2-0. And at the end of their Chinese gauntlets, they have OG, the European team, and they honestly could have won this finals. They were tied 2-2 game score going into Game 5, and honestly, they probably should have won Game 5, but in the end, OG outmaneuvered them and out-executed Virtus.pro, so Virtus.pro loses finals 2-3. Rough loss for them. The biggest tournament they've played in is the International 7, the International of 2017, where they start off in the harder of the group stages. They go 10-6 in Group B, which is the harder group of the group stage. In the bracket, though, they have a bit of a rough time. They do beat LGD 2-0, but the thing is, after that, they lose to LFY 0-2, and they have a heartbreaking loss to Team Liquid. This is the loss where they lose Game 1, I believe it's a 95 or a 98-minute game. Absolute barn burner of a game, extremely long game, but unfortunately for them, they lost that one. They go into Game number 2, they kill Liquid Game number 2, 1-1, and they lose a pretty close Game number 3, and honestly, they could have won Game 1 or Game 3. They lose neither. As a result, they get 5th to 6th place at TI7, and this is a team that has a lot of potential. One of the reasons why I put them, I could have potentially put them a little bit higher on the list, but I chose to put them at 20. I'm slightly on the conservative end there, because Virtus.pro has time to show what they can do in the coming months, in the coming year. They have an entire Valve circuit, the entire major circuit of the 2018 season, to show, are we a legit top-tier team? Are we an all-time team? Or are we a team that maybe wouldn't be on this list? And that's something we need to find out in the coming months and the coming year. Regardless, though, we will be moving on to another CIS team in the TI1 champion, Nautis Vincere. So Nautis Vincere is a bit of an anomaly on this list, because they have by far the smallest sample size of results. They played in 1 tournament. They happened to win it, so that's 100% top 4 placements. They played 2 actual best of 3 or 5 sets. They won both. That's 100% win rates. Looking at that, purely the percentages, it's 100% and 100%. It clearly must be the best, but there's some key context you have to put in here. This was a team made up of Artstyle at captain and carry, Dendy in the middle lane, Havos in the off lane, a Puppy in Light of Heaven at supports. The thing is, they played 1 tournament. It was TI1, they won it. The thing is, they won it in very, very dominant fashion. They, in game score, went 10-1. This is an unbelievable sort of slaughter that went on there. The thing is, they had very good wins up against Scythe Singapore in best of 3. They beat eHome in best of 5. They beat Moscow 5, who were a very good team in best of 1. The thing is, a lot of this team is what if. What if this team had stayed together? The problem is, after TI1, there was a bit of a dispute between the captain, Artstyle, and the organization. Valve played the Na'Vi players individually, so Artstyle, with his share, the $200,000, was like, alright, Na'Vi is like, oh, Na'Vi contractually said, alright, Artstyle, give us our share of the money. But Artstyle was like, wait a minute. You guys don't pay us enough money for me to give you this money. I'm keeping it. As a result, Na'Vi kicked him from the team. Na'Vi went through a roster change. They brought in Arzar, aka Smile, from Moscow 5. He played support, which moved Light of Heaven to offlane and Havos to safe land-ins. I guess the rest there is just history, but I still think Nautis Vincere, as a nod, should get onto this top 20 list. Okay, moving over to 18. We have Team Liquid of 2015 to 2016, the one that played in the Shanghai Major, the Manila Major, and TI6. Is a team made up of Matamba Man at carry, Fata in the middle lane, Mind Control in the off lane, Jerax as support, and finally Kuroki as support and captain. As far as top 4 placements go, they did very well there. They placed top 4 in 11 out of 13 tournaments. That is 84.6%. Their series record was 25-15. That is 62.5% over 40 sets. That's pretty solid body of work there. We have to look over at their actual tournament results. There's some highs there, and there's one very notable low, but let's talk about the highs first. So first off, Team Liquid, they did pretty well, especially in non-Valve events, and even then in the 2 majors they went to, they did pretty well. They won the D2CL Season 6, beat up Empire in the finals. They won the defense. They beat OG, they beat Alliance again. They won the WCA in China, or they didn't win WCA, but they got 3rd place at the WCA in China. There they beat Wings in a set, which is pretty solid. Ended up losing to LGD, though. Went to ESL Frankfurt. They got 3rd to 4th there. They happened to lose 1-2 to the tournament champions, OG, in a very tight series. So they could have won that tournament. There's 3rd place in the Summit 5, where they lost to Wings and they lost to OG. 1-2. Those happen to be 2 of the best teams of that era. At the tournament, they still had some solid best-of-3 wins over Navi, over DC, over Adfinum. They also got 2nd place at ESL 1 Manila. Happened to lose to Wings 3-0 and a pretty bad beating in the Grand Finals. But they had a good route there. They beat Empire in best-of-3 2-0. They had a 4-0 perfect group stage. So overall, decent showing there. And they had 1 solid tournament win in Epicenter. That is a top-tier LAN right there. At the tournament, they 3-2'd Newbie, they 2-0'd OG, they 2-0'd EG. These are very, very good set wins. Very respectable set wins over top teams. Looking at the Valve events, let's look at the majors first, where they did very, very well. So chronologically speaking, the Shanghai Major was the first of those. In the bracket, they had some losses, but they had some very good wins on the way there. In winner's side, they beat MVP Phoenix and Alliance 2-0 and 2-1 respectively. They happened to lose to Secret 0-2 winners finals, but they bounced back. They beat Evil Geniuses 2-0 in losers finals to go to the grand finals, where Secret does beat them 1-3. Meanwhile, at the Manila Major, they have a very, very good losers run. So they lose to MVP Phoenix first round 0-2, and they go on a tear in losers. They beat Complexity 2-0, Navi 2-0, Fnatic 2-0, LGD 2-0, and Newbie 2-1. They go to grand finals, where OG does beat them 1-3. OG does claim their 2nd major of the year, and Liquid must claim their 2nd silver medal of the year. So there was a lot of high hopes still. Liquid was one of the favorites going into TI 6. And Liquid, on the bright side, they did have the best placing of any European team at TI 6, but it still was a bit bad. They went to the lower bracket from the group stage. Very disappointing group stage. They went 5-9. First round, best of 1 versus Navi. They win it 1-0. Next thing they have to do is they have to play Newbie. Newbie's pretty good as well. They beat Newbie 2-1. The thing is, loser brackets round 3. The one where they have to face Fnatic, they do not progress. They get 0-2'd, and as a result, they get only 7th to 8th place, and they have a fairly disappointing TI, which certainly hurts their legacy, no doubt about it. So moving on to the 17th team on the list, we have the most recent iteration of Evil Geniuses, made up of Arteezy, Sumail, Universe, Zai, and Crit. Their top 4 placements weren't the best, at 9 out of 12, that is still 75%, but it is not amazing. Their series record, though, is very, very solid. That is 31-16, that is a 66% win rate over 47 sets. So now I have to go in depth on what are the placements of Evil Geniuses. This is a very up and down team. At their best, they were unbelievably talented. They could outskill any lineup in the world, but the problem is, team play-wise and strategically, they were not the best team in the world. As a result, their placings were very inconsistent. We see in there's 3 tournament wins. They won the Manila Masters, they beat Newbie there, they beat MP there, they beat IG there, they won the Mars Dota League Autumn, where they beat Newbie, they beat OG, they beat Team Secrets. They won the Dota Pit series, where they beat OG again, they beat Secret, they beat Team Faceless. These are very good wins. The problem is, they were not the best consistent team. They did get some other top 4 placings with Epicenter 2017. They lost to Liquid in the finals. They go to the Summit 6. They do pretty well there, but the problem is they lose to OG twice. They go to DAC 2017, and they end up getting a win against Team Faceless, and they get a win against Wings Gaming, but the problem is they lose to Team Newbie in brackets. They go to MDL Spring, the Mars Dota League Spring 2017. They lose to OG there. They get a win up against, the thing is, they lose to OG, but they go straight to loser bracket from the group stage performance. And in the bracket, they only get a win against Clutch Gamers, which is not a top 10 win. Not a significant win. However, we have not touched on the biggest tournaments of the year, the majors. So there were 2 majors of this tournament cycle that EG played in, the Kiev and the Boston Major. They happen to run into OG both times. You do not want to run into OG in the majors, apparently. So, what happened at the Boston Major, which was the first one chronologically, they have a very, very tough bracket. One of the hardest brackets you're ever going to find, because they got absolutely straight bodied by complexity in the group stage. So they're seeded very, very badly. First round in bracket, they have Wings Gaming, the reigning TI champions and world #1. They mop up Wings Gaming 2-0. Next round, Virtus Pro, the hottest team in the world, just came off a Summit win. Beat them 2-0. But the problem is they happen to run into OG. And despite OG changing their lineup, OG were still the kings of the majors. They lose to OG 2-0. OG go on, mop up Ad Finum in the grand finals, win the major. So 3rd to 4th place there. But it's okay. Evil Geniuses, they have the Kiev Major. Except they also run into OG in the bracket at the Kiev Major. But on the way there, they beat the Digital Chaos team that's now known as Thunderbirds. The one with Weeha, Moon Meander, so on and so forth. The thing is, they happen to run it. They actually beat SG Brazil. They're supposed to face Secret at this point in the bracket, but Secret happened to lose to SG Brazil, so EG goes on to the semifinals, where once again they lose to OG because OG is very good in majors. But it's okay. EG, they can go to TI. They can be the best team of the year. They can beat Liquid and China and those guys, except they go to TI and they get straight banged out in the bracket. They do alright in the groups. They go 11-5 game score in the groups, but then they go in the bracket and it's embarrassing. They have a 0-2 loss to Newbie, very convincing loss. They go to the loser bracket and they're seeded to go up against Liquid in the first round of top 8, except they don't actually make top 8s. They end up losing to Team Empire, with a Resolution playing as a stand-in because Resolution's carry Chappie had visa issues. And yet, EG got convincingly 2-0'd by the second fiddle to Virtus Pro with a stand-in. So that's a very, very bad loss for EG. They disband afterwards, and by disband I mean they change one player, but that's effectively disbanding, right? Regardless though, they still go down as a pretty good team. I put them at 17 all time. Going on to 16, we have the 2014 to 2015 post-TI4 to DAC era Vici Gaming. Made up of Black at carry, Super in the mid lane, Ice at off lane, FY as support and captain, and Fenrir at support. They placed top 4 in all but one tournament. That's 8 out of 9. That's 88.9%. Their series record was decent at 15-10. That's a 60% win rate over 25 sets. That's not bad, but it's not spectacular. We have to go in depth at the actual results here. Now, Vici Gaming in late 2014 were almost certainly the best team in the world. I consider them the dominant #1 team in the world. They did that by winning 2 big tournaments in the West. They won ESL New York 2014 and the Summit 2. At those 2 tournaments, they beat C9, Secret, Team Tinker, Navi, Secret again, and EG. All the best Western teams. They mopped up the West. They beat them like nobody's business. In addition, they also won I-League Season 1 in China, where they beat the Old Boys team of Zhou, Xiaowei, those guys. They beat IG, and they beat CDEC. So it's pretty solid. They also get top 4 at a bunch of other Chinese tournaments, including the WEC, I-League Season 2, the ECL, the WCA, and across these tournaments, they get some decent set wins over LGD, over IG, multiple times, over MVP. But overall, they fall to teams like Newbie and eventually don't win these domestic tournaments. But it's okay. Vici Gaming can go to DAC, the Dota Asian Championships. This is the first really major non-Valve tournaments that really matters. It's the first major in all but name only. It's a $3 million tournament in China. In Vici Gaming, they're the favorites. But the West, they come with their roster shuffles. C9 shuffled, Secret shuffled, EG shuffled. Can they beat Vici Gaming? In Vici Gaming, they look great in the brackets. They go on the group stage, get seeded into winner bracket. First round of winners, they beat Hellraisers, solid team, 2-0. They beat Secret in a nail-biting series with Rapiers and great stuff right there, 2-1. And they beat Evil Geniuses 2-0, convincingly in the winners finals. Vici Gaming, they're gonna win the DAC, except EG come back, they bounce back, they beat Team Secret and losers, and they absolutely mop up the floor with Vici in the finals 3-0. Sumail Storm Spirit is legendary in this series, and they get absolutely straight dumpstered by Evil Geniuses and only get second place. As a result, Vici Gaming, they lose this tournament, they kick Black, they get in Hao, and they're decent with Hao, but they never really won that many significant tournaments. I believe they won Starlighter 12, and that's it. So overall, disappointing end to a very interesting team in Vici Gaming. At 15, though, I have another Chinese team. I have LGD Gaming, which went from, I believe, November of 2011 to just after TI3. Made up of Sylar, Yao, Xiao8 the captain, DD, and DDC. Xiao8 and Yao over the time did switch roles between mid and offlane. Both of them had some tournaments at mid and some tournaments at offlane. There also was a 1 month span where DD had wrist issues and had long DD substituted in, but they didn't really play any lands with it, so I'm not considering that significant in that sense. Their top 4 placements though in their series records, very good. They placed top 4 in all but 1 tournaments, 9 out of 10, 90%. Their series record was 19-9. That is a 67.9% win rate, over 28 sets. That is solid right there. We have to go in depth. What happened at these tournaments? So LGD, they do pretty well in China. Domestically speaking, they're one of the top Chinese teams with Invictus Gaming. They are the absolute favorite going into TI2. The problem is they have a very hot start, 14-0 in the group stage. They 2-0 Orange with Mushi. They 2-0 Zenith with Loda and Ice, HY, those guys. They are 18-0 in game score. And they win the first game of Winners Finals against Navi. They're 19-0. And the next 5 games are an absolute disaster. They lose 2 games to Navi. They go to Losers Finals. They face IG. They lose 1-2. So despite having the best game score at TI2, they actually lose. They got 3rd place. A bit disappointing, but still a pretty good placement for this team. It's okay. They have a chance to mop up some domestic tournaments. They win the Red Bull ECL. They win the G1 Champions League Season 4. They win the Asia 2012. They win the Gigabyte Masters. They get 3rd place in Super League. Solid stuff right there. They get 3rd of the G League Season 2. They get some good domestic wins at that. But it's okay. You gotta realize, in the really early scene, like 2013 and earlier, the scene really wasn't truly international. There weren't really lands where like the top Western teams and the top Chinese teams faced. But this all changed with the G1 Champions League Season 5 and the Alienware Cup. At the G1 Champions League Season 5 and the Alienware Cup, the 2 best Western teams came over. At G1, Alliance came over, and at the Alienware Cup, Navi came over. This is a chance for China and LGD to defend their homelands. Except they didn't. Alliance won G1, Navi won Alienware Cup, and it was a bit of an embarrassing showing for the region. At the Alienware Cup, they actually get some solid wins. They actually do beat Navi in Winners Finals, but they end up losing 3-2 to Navi in the Grand Finals. Very, very close loss there. Unfortunate for LGD. And as a result, the West pretty much embarrasses China, and that is a prologue to TI3, where China, who had been absolutely dominant at TI2, fall completely. And no team fell more than LGD. They were still considered a top 10 team at the time. Certainly a team that should be top 8 the tournaments. They barely make it in the winners bracket after a tiebreaker against the Dignitas team with Snake King and Universe. But it's okay. They go to winners. They get smacked down by Alliance 2-0. It was a pretty close 2-0 actually. But it was 2-0. And then they go and they face Team Liquid. And I don't mean the Team Liquid that won TI. I don't mean the Team Liquid that was already on this list that was pretty good. I don't mean the Team Liquid that was a top 10 team in 2014. No, I mean the Team Liquid. The NA lineup made up of Korok, Korok, Boba, TC, Fluffenstuff, and IX Mike 88. This is a David versus Goliath story. Top Chinese team, top 3 at the last TI. I mean, Xiao8, legendary captain, Sylar, one of the best carries in the world at the time, up against IX Mike 88 and Korok. And guess who won? Well, Liquid won. Liquid beat them in the lower bracket. Stunning upset. Liquid are doing it. LGD, China, they're going home. 9th place. Big upset. They kicked Sylar, and the LGD would eventually crumble as they lost Xiao8 later on. And they never really would return to this kind of fight until, what is it, like 4 years later, so it took a while to get back to this sort of level again. I guess by the end, by like the middle of 2015, they were pretty good again, but they had a rough period of time after this. Regardless, though, top 15 team, great all-time team, bit disappointing in the end, but still a great team. Going into number 14, we have Team's Secret of 2015 to early 2016, made up of Jackie Mao, Eternal Envy, Mr. Weeha, Misery, Puppy, the Captain, and Pylai Dai, Farm Priority in that order. Their top 4 placements were not the best. 5 out of 8, that is 62.5%. Their series record is decent though, 16-8, that's a 66.7% win rate over 24 sets. That's they win 2 out of every 3, that's pretty solid. We have to see what is Team Secret's individual tournament placements. So, they won a major. This is back when majors mattered, when there's only 2 to 3 majors in a year, and they won a major. They won the Shanghai Major, but we will get to that last, because it is the last one chronologically. We will start at the beginning. So, we'll start with the MLG Finals in ESL New York 2015. They're 2 tournaments where they're at least fated to be good teams. They win 1, they win the MLG Finals. They beat the team that would become OG there. They beat EG there. Solid wins. ESL New York, they're pretty good. They do beat CDEC, who just got top 2 at the last TI, beat Fnatic, but they ended up losing to Vegas Squadron in the Grand Finals. They barely lose to Vegas Squadron, and I'm talking this is Vegas Squadron. These guys are playing the best tournament of their career. Like, no joke. Guys like Mag and Seam of the Slayer were literally playing the best tournament of their career, and they beat Team Secret. Unfortunate loss for them. It's okay, though. Secret, they go to the Nanyang Championships. They win this, actually. They beat Feature Gaming twice. They beat Virtus Pro. They beat some good teams there. But things are looking very, very good going into the Frankfurt Major. And they're the odds-on favorite to win the Frankfurt Major. They go there. And if we're being honest here, Team Secret should have won the Frankfurt Major. But things went a bit disastrous in Grand Finals. But on the way there, they looked very, very good. They beat Mineski, they beat Feature Gaming, they beat Evil Geniuses. And by the way, the EG series in the Winners Bracket Finals, one of the best series of Dota to ever be played. I highly recommend you look that up if you want to see this team in action at their best. As said though, Destiny came knocking in the Grand Finals. OG beat them 3-1. Shocking upset. Nobody expected OG to be this good going into the tournament. And OG go on probably the greatest losers run in Dota history to beat Secret in the finals. The Cinderella story does win. The clock does not strike midnight, and Team Secret, they lose this tournament. And Secret start crumbling. They start losing tournaments. They get outside the top 4 at Dota Pit. At Dota Pit, they lose to Navi, and Navi were not that good then. They have 5th place in Star Ladder I-League Season 1. They lose to Alliance, and Alliance were not that good then. 7th place MDL win in 2015. They go to China. They lose to OG. They lose to Newbie. Last place, embarrassing loss. So going into the Shanghai Major, nobody expects anything from Team Secret. And yet they win the tournaments. They actually win the tournament on a miracle run. They barely make it the winner's side in their group. But then they beat OG, the last major winner. They beat EG, still a top team. They beat Team Liquid, rising team. And they beat Team Liquid in the finals again, 3-1. Miracle run from Team Secret. Eternal Envy has the tournament of his career. Pylai Dai plays out of his mind. All these players just play so well in this tournament, and they win. The thing is, in a sense, Secret should not have won the Shanghai Major. But if you look at their history and look at their trajectory, Secret should have won one major. They just didn't win the major that analysts and whatnot expected them to win. In the end, still a solid team. I put them at 14th of all time. And they happened to kick Weeha and Misery right after those tournaments, and Team Secret went on a very, very significant struggle for the next half of the year, let's put it that way. They were goddamn garbage. But regardless, moving on. I have OG, actually. I'm talking the more recent of the 2 major winning OGs, made up of No-Tail, Ana, S4, Jerax, and Fly. They placed top 4 in most of their tournaments. That is 8 out of 11, 72.7%. Their series record was 24-16. That is 66. That's right. That's a 60% win rate over 40 sets. Not the best win rate. So you gotta ask, all right, if this win rate isn't the best, why is OG here? And that is strength of victories. OG won 2 majors. That is pretty good, especially considered this is the year where there's only 2 majors. There was only the Boston Major and the Kiev Major, and they won both of them. They won both of the majors. And that's pretty good. But overall, let's look at their entire year here. So they actually don't win any tournament but a major at significance. They got some good second places. Second place at DAC 2017. They got some good wins. Smacked down by IG in the finals. Second place at Summit 6. Good wins. Smacked down by Virtus.pro in the finals. Both those finals, by the way, 3-0. Not very convincing losses. So they go to Dota Pit League. They barely lose to EG in the finals. 2-3. Second place. They go to Mars Dota League Autumn 2016. Smacked down by EG. Mars Dota League Spring 2017. Smackdown by Newbie, Smackdown by LGD. They go to the Starlighter I-League Season 3, and honestly, they're considered one of the better teams going into this tournament, but once again, they lose. They have to lose to Vici J, the team with ROTK in the bracket, in a stunning upset. Still, top 4 placement. They go to Manila Masters. They should have done well here, but they lose to Newbie, and they lose to Team Faceless. And Team Faceless were not that amazing at the time, so definitely they should have been expected to win there. They lose that set. They go to Epicenter 2017. Very, very bad performance there. They actually did not make it out of the groups. They went 3-6 game score in the groups. That's a 33% win rate there. Rough tournament for them. But let's look at the high points. Let's look at the majors. So the Boston Major is the first one chronologically. Obviously, they have changed their lineup since the previous major winning team with Miracle and Crits. They still have the strategic core though, and Fly and No Tail. And this gives them great success at the Boston Major. At the Boston Major, they beat MVP Phoenix, who honestly probably should not have been at the tournament, but they got invited over Fnatic for some unknown reason. They beat WG Unity, who qualified from SEA. They were pretty decent. They beat Evil Geniuses in the semifinals. But no matter who they face at that semifinal game, it's going to be hard. Either that's EG, Wings, or Virtus.pro. Either way, a very tough series. Happens to be EG. They beat them 2-0. Good win. And in the grand finals, they have a very clinical smackdown of the Greek team at Finum. This is on trajectory to be one of the biggest slaughters of all time. First 2 games, convincing wins to OG. And the third game was looking like OG was going to absolutely crush it. And they happened to lose a very long game, I believe 80 minutes or so. At Finum, they do acrobatics, they do heroics, they pull a game out. But in the end, at Finum are no might for OG. OG win 3-1. Good win for them. But now they go into Kiev Major. They haven't won any of our tournaments, but they did win the previous Major. So people gotta ask, how will they do at the Kiev Major? So the Kiev Major comes around. They don't do that great in the group stage, but when the bracket comes along, they have a very tough bracket. But they say, you know what? We are up to the challenge. So first series they have, up against the former Wings Gaming team, the 5 out of 5 players, the TI winners of the previous TI. They beat them 2-1. Next thing they have to do, they face Team Faceless, top 10 team at the time, solid team from Singapore, 2-1. EG in the semifinals? Well, we know what happens there. EG loses 2-0. And they face Virtus.pro in the finals. And they barely clutch it out, 3-2. They win the finals, 3-2. Game number 5, they should have lost. They have the worst late game lineup, and they've lost the lanes. Any other team that was not this strategically and a team that's not this good strategically and this good team play-wise would not have won this game. But they outmaneuvered Virtus.pro. They used their experience and they used their poise to just beat Virtus.pro, and they won their 4th major as an organization, 2nd one as a team. Overall, though, they go to TI7. They're considered a top 4 caliber team, top 3, top 4. Not considered a number 1 team. They're considered good going into TI. And then they lose. They lose in a pretty convincing fashion. They go to the loser bracket immediately from the group stage. They go 9-7, but it's not good enough to make it into the winners brackets. They happen to be in the harder group. Actually, every single team that went to winners in their group made top 6 in the tournaments. So they had the harder group in the group stage, but they still could not make it out there. Lower bracket, they're on a very, very long, very, very arduous gauntlets. They faced TNC first round. They beat them, actually. Despite the previous OG losing at the previous TI to to TNC. This OG will beat this TNC 2-0. They beat another team in the lower bracket. I think it was Infamous as well. I honestly don't remember. It wasn't a very good team, though. But then in the first round of top 8, they faced LGD of China. And LGD beat them 2-0. And OG's TI run will end in the 7th place. Overall, though, throughout the year, they were consistently a good team. When it mattered the most, except for TI, at the 2 majors, they happened to win. So I do believe they are deserving of this 13th place on my list. Moving over to 12th, though, we have the TI3 era. Natus Vencer Navi. They're one of the few teams that actually happen to manage to play 2 TIs. And there's a team that have Havost at carry, Dendy in the mid lane, Phonic in the off lane, Puppy, support and captain, and finally Kuroki also in support. They got top 4 in 16 of 22 tournaments. That is 72.7%. Considering this is over a almost a year-and-a-half span, that's pretty impressive longevity there. In their set records, they went 34 and 20. That is a 63% win rate, or 54 sets. That is pretty solid. So let's look at the individual tournaments. What happened with Navi? So Navi play at TI3. Actually, let's do it a little more chronologically. There's a lot of stuff here. They played in a lot of tournaments. Actually, screw us, let's do TI. So TI3, they almost win TI3. And they had a roller coaster of a tournament as well. They had a pretty decent group stage. First round in the bracket, they have Orange Esports, the Malaysian team with Mushi. The team that actually would go on to place top 3 this TI first round. They beat them. Good win there. Solid win. They have second round, they have Tongfu, the Chinese team. They barely beat Tongfu 2-1. And they actually execute the infamous Fountain Hook strategy up against Tongfu. Tongfu's not happy. Some people in the FTI aren't happy, but it got Navi the W. They go and face Alliance in the winter bracket finals. This was a bad loss for Navi. 2-0. Not even close games. The entire best of 3 took maybe 70 minutes. Not good at all. But it's okay. They still have loser bracket. First round in loser bracket is the loser bracket finals for them. And once again, that team that beat earlier, they have Orange Esports. And actually, Orange is beating them. First 2 games they drew. Game number 3, final game. Orange is winning! Orange, they have map control. They have a timing window-based oriented lineup. They are in a commanding position to win this game, knock Navi out, they'll get 3rd place, and then one of the most infamous incidents in Dota 2 history occurs. KYXY, the Windrunner player of Orange Esports, fucked up real hard. See, what's supposed to happen is Orange takes Roshan, Aegis goes to Mushi on his Outward Devour. They roll down, they win team fights, they take barracks, they win the game. Windrunner denied the Aegis. I'm gonna let this sink in there because this is just... It's one of the worst plays in Dota 2 history. It was bad. It cost Orange Esports hundreds of thousands of dollars, cost them a chance to beat Alliance in the finals, and it gives Navi a second life. Navi happened to pull the game out, they win the game, go to the finals. And Navi actually have a very good grand finals up against Alliance. See, at this point, Alliance were nearly undefeatable at the tournaments. They were 20-1 game score. They only lost a single game to Team DK on the back of Burning's Animage. So they're looking very, very dominant going into this grand finals. But Navi was like, you know what? We lost in winners finals, 2-0, we don't care. We are going to win this game. And they tried to win best of 5. This is one of the best grand finals to ever occur. Great games in the series. So game 1 goes to Alliance, game 2 goes to Navi. Game 3, Navi pulls out a mid-wisp, and they win game 3. Game 4, Alliance wins. And game 5, Navi, they are winning. They have the advantage. They're going to win this game. Alliance are crumbling. They're taking Roshan. Dendi on Templar Assassin. He's in the pit. He's taking Roshan. And then the Treants, they break his refraction. And he gets backed by Roshan. And then he dies to Roshan. Alliance gets the Aegis. And things go very downhill from there. Na'Vi, they start getting desperate. They go for a high ground push. Alliance, they're split pushing in the top lane. They're split pushing in the bottom lane. Na'Vi, take the mid T3 tower. It's time to leave. But then S4 on Puck is there. Huge Dream Coil. Alliance, they get 2 sets of barracks. They have the Nature's Prophet. They have the Chaos Knight and the Wisp. They have map control. And they choke out this game. And Na'Vi, they start losing their base. They have to defend their throne. They're TPing back with Dendi, with Puppy on the Enigma and the Templar Assassin. They need them to defend. And S4, with another huge Dream Coil, stops their TPs. Alliance, the Kings of the North, they take the throne. They win TI3. And Na'Vi, they fall at 2nd place. One of the greatest series of Dota to ever be played. And Na'Vi, they end up on the losing end of the equation, but still, well played to them there. Na'Vi played like 25 other tournaments, so this might take a while. Regardless, though, let's go over some of the highlights. They go into China for the Alienware Cup. All the best Chinese teams are there. They smack them down. They win Alienware Cup. Big win for the West. They win Starladder Season 7 over Alliance, Fnatic, I think Empire. They win Starladder Season 8 over Alliance, Fnatic, Sigma International. These are the best European teams at the time. Good wins for Na'Vi. They win the D2CL Season 2. They beat Empire. They beat Alliance. More European teams. They won the first ever Dream League season, the Dream League kickoff season. They beat Alliance. They beat Fnatic. They beat the North American Liquid lineup. They won the D2L Season 3, which they beat Mouse. They beat Fnatic of Europe. Solid wins there. They go to MLG Columbus, actually. It's after TI3. They have a very close loss up against Team DK, who are one of the greatest teams that ever played Dota, out of China. Very close series. Both Spies, 3 Rapiers on Gyrocopter. It's a great, great series. They're one of the greatest series ever played in Dota. But they fall to DK, 1-2. They get 3rd to 4th place there. They go to the Summit 1, which is the first ever Summit, based on the StarCraft-style Home Story Cup. And they did well right there. They have 4th place, but they ultimately lose to... Who did they lose to? I believe to EG, actually, is the team they lost to. Rough loss, though, because EG ended up winning the tournaments. Still, 4th place, not bad. It's top 4. They go to... What else did they go to? They went to the bunch of other online tournaments that were less significant. They won a lot of those online tournaments, such as the We Play Dota League, such as the Defense Season 4. They won a lot of online tournaments. And back then, the online tournaments had a lot more significance than they do now. Because nowadays, all the best teams pretty much only play on LAN exclusively when they can. Back then, the scene was a lot smaller than it was today. So online tournaments actually had some more significance to them. They won a lot of those. And the final tournament for Na'Vi was the International 4. Obviously, they're on the decline at this point. They're no longer considered a top team. They're probably considered like an 8th to 9th best team at the time. They're still pretty solid, but they're on nobody's radar to win TI4. I think some betting sites have them at like 13th or 14th in odds. People did not believe in Na'Vi. And Na'Vi, they don't win the tournaments. But they had a very respectable showing at TI4. So, at TI4, the European teams collapsed around them. Alliance crumbled, Fnatic crumbled, Empire crumbled, Naus crumbled. But Na'Vi, they did alright. They got 7th to 8th. They got top 8. They actually, that is the best placing of any European team at any purely European team at actually TI4. They end up making it out to top 8. In top 8, though, they lose to Cloud9. The team with Sing, Eternal Envy, AUI 2000, those guys. And it's a bit of a rough loss, but still, top 8 at TI. Respectable showing from Noctis Vincier. And that is why they are my 12th team of all time. Moving now into the number 11. We have Evil Geniuses. Another EG team. This is a bit of a trend for the NA teams that happen to make top 20. They generally are EG teams. And to actually know the entire list, they actually are all EG teams. I digress, though. This is the Evil Geniuses team. from the very early parts of 2014 to the very end of 2014. This is a rare exception. Every other team on the list had a solid, unchanged 5-man lineup. EG, though, they had a bit of a situation with Fear's wrist. As a result, he took a 3-month hiatus in the middle of it, and Mason was a stand-in. The reason why I consider this one whole lineup is because, strategically speaking, they were the exact same lineup. They had 4 of the 5 same roster, and both this lineup is historically significant. And if you pretty much split it into 3 different rosters, which you could do if you consider it the Fear roster, and then the Mason roster, and then the Fear roster, would not really be on this list. And I feel like there has to be a nod to this team and what they accomplished, because this was the first ever elite North American team in Dota 2. See, before this team right here on the screen, made up of Fear, RTZ, Universe, Zai, and PPD, the NA scene was, how I refer to it, an absolute and utter joke. There never was a #1 team in the world that was North American before this. There never was a tournament winner from North America before this. There was no North American team, really, that was considered a guarantee to even take series over European teams. That said, there were some exceptions. Teams like Evil Geniuses, Dignitas, and Liquid could take the occasional upset series, but that's all it was. Upset series. This EG comes in. They placed top 4. 13 out of 14 tournaments, 92.9%. Series record, 25-13. That is a 65.8% win rate over 38 sets. Solid stuff right there. And they make the NA region proud. They win some tournaments. They got top 3 at TI. They got top 2 at some other tournaments. This is good stuff right here. I am so proud of what they did for our region and how they progressed us as a region. Because look at these wins. These are just some great wins with some great, really, showings here. So, chronologically speaking, the first tournament they played was the Monster Gaming Invitational. Monster Energy Invitational, where they beat Cloud9 and they beat Liquid. Decent wins, but that's we're just getting started here. So, they play some more tournaments, such as Starlighter Season 9. They get 3rd place there, but Starlighter Season 9 was very stacked. This is the tournament with that DK won over Empire. But then again, EG still had some solid wins there. They beat Alliance. They had a good group stage performance. They went 3-0 on the group stage, so they look pretty good at these tournaments. They go to a bunch of other tournaments though. They go to let's think, what else they go to? Before TI4, they went to ESL Frankfurt 2014. They are considered one of the better teams going into this tournament, and they actually make it to the grand finals. And it's a best of 3 series in the finals. They win 1 game, they lose 1 game, and then game number 3 is just, they did not get a kill in game number 3. It was a 22-0 kill score. They lost to IG in that finals, and the last game was bad. But regardless, good showing. Top 2, significant tournament. They go to the first ever summit. They immediately go losers bracket from the group stage, but it's okay. They don't care. They are comfortable in the losers bracket. They beat Fnatic, they beat Navi, they beat Feature Gaming, and they barely clutch out 3-2 over Team DK, the undisputed #1 team in the world, pulling out for RTZ a mid-Phantom Assassin. Never before in the history of Pro Dota 2 have we seen these sorts of picks. But that's okay. They win. They did it. Good stuff. They go to TI, not as the favorite, that still is DK, but they're considered a top 3 team with DK and IG. And that's where they place. They place in the top 3. They end up doing well in the group stage. I believe it was like 13-2 in the group stage. I meant like 11-4. Regardless, they go immediately to the upper brackets. Then first round of the bracket, they beat Team DK, best team of the year, 2-0. But then in the winners bracket finals, they lose to Team Newbie. Newbie goes on to win the tournaments, but now EG's in the losers brackets. They have to face Beachy Gaming, fresh off a win against Team DK. Game number 1, Beachy, they deathball, they go hard with the team play, beat EG. Game number 2, EG, they outmaneuver, they outskill. They're doing some great stuff. Universe with the clutch 3-man chrono to clutch out game number 2. What a player. And now game number 3. EG utterly collapsed at this game number 3. The draft was a bit questionable from Mr. PPD, and then they lose. They lose all the lanes very bad. They go for Roshan as Beachy Gaming are pushing their high grounds. This was a bit of a bad idea, and they lose. They lose very, very embarrassingly. But overall, that probably wasn't the game they're winning from the draft. Regardless, though, EG, top 3, best ever showing from an NA team at a TI. By far the best showing of any non-Chinese team at this TI. Bravo to them. Regardless, though, after TI, Fear comes back. They win Starlighter Season 10 over Team Secrets. They go to ESL New York. They happen to lose that to Team Beachy Gaming, the one we saw earlier with Black, 1-2. But on the route to that, they beat C9, Cloud9, they beat Alliance, both top 10 teams, solid wins there. Let's think what else. They play in Dota Pit. They do pretty well in Dota Pit. They get 3rd to 4th place. Obviously, they want to do better than that. But they end up losing to VP Polar. And VP Polar at the time, they barely listened to them. VP Polar were very, very good. This is the team with the G, FNG, I believe Little and Illidan, but honestly, it's a little hard to remember at this point. Regardless, though, EG, they go to Summit 2. They go to WEC China first. They happen to win the WEC China. They actually happen to lose in the first round of the playoffs to Beachy Gaming. And then they go on a monster losers run. They face the Hyper Glory team, captained by ZSMJ, 2-0, Navi, 2-0, Newbie, 2-0, Vici, 2-0, Cloud9. And Cloud9 actually, because they're in the winner's bracket, with the tournament rules, they had to beat Cloud9 twice. They beat Cloud9 in 2 successive BO3s, 2-1, 2-0. Massive slaughter. They win WEC China. They had to win Chinese soil. That's another tournament win for Evil Geniuses. The last tournament they play as a lineup, though, run into a bit of internal problems. They go to Summit 2. They lose to Cloud9, actually, in the bracket. Usually speaking, EG was Cloud9's kryptonite. I don't think EG, up to that point, had lost a single series to Cloud9. And they had like 7 or 8 wins on land, something like that, like some absurd number. And then EG loses to Cloud9. At that exact moment, when they actually lose to Cloud9, they're just done. They play Team Secret in the 3rd place decider. Secret slaughter them. Honestly, it looks like EG's given up, and EG actually never play in our tournament again. Arteezy and Zai leave to form Secrets. EG replaced them with a former Cloud9 support player, AEY2000, and the young Pakistani/American immigrant mid laner, Sumail, and, well, the rest is just history, which we will discuss later, that's for sure. Regardless, though, that EG lineup, the first ever Elite NA team, I put them at 11 on my list. Now we're going in to the big old top 10. Oh boy, I might need more water, but that's okay. We have some OG here. The 2-time major winner, OG, at number 10, made up of No Tail at the carry, Miracle at middle lane, being the actual carry, Moon Meander in the off lane, Crit at support, and finally Fly, the captain, at support as well. They had a good number of top 4 placements. They placed top 4 in 13 out of 16 tournaments. That is an 81.3% win rate. Their series record was 31-22. That's not the best. 58.5% win rate, over 53 assists, but it is a lot of body work right there. Let's look at the individual tournaments they played there. So we see here, OG won 2 majors. They had some overall good placements as well. Let's go into a couple of them here. So they won Dream League Season 5, and they won Dream League Season 6 as well. Sorry, Dream League Season 4 as well. But neither of them were that stacked of a tournament field. They beat up Navi, Alliance, and Empire there, but that's not really the greatest of wins. Still, they had very convincing wins against those teams. They were only really dropping games there, so they're clearly showing they're above the level of these Tier 2 NA teams, or sorry, the Tier 2 European teams. Regardless, they go into the Frankfurt Major. They are absolutely an underdog. Nobody really considers them to be that great of a team. Maybe bottom end of top 10 type team at the time. And the thing is, in the group stage, they actually start going to loser brackets. They from losing to Vega in the group stage, they're immediately in the lower bracket from the first round of the brackets. And they go on a run. So they beat Fnatic, And they beat Mineski, they beat Virtus Pro, they beat CDC, the team that formerly got top 2 at the last TI. They beat eHome, they beat Evil Geniuses 2-1, and they finally beat Secret in the finals 3-1. That is a Cinderella run right there, and, well, good stuff to them. They won it right there. Regardless, though, they go on to be a pretty good team throughout the rest of the year. They get 2nd place at Summit 5, and they get 4th place at Summit 4. Decent overall placings. They got some wins over teams like eHome, but eventually lost both of them. They go to the MLG Finals. Actually, I think that was actually their first tournament. Should have probably mentioned that first. But regardless, at this tournament, they lost to Team Secret, who was the tournament champion. They go to the MDL Winter 2016. They lose to EG and eHome, the top 2 teams of the tournaments. They go to the Shanghai Major. They actually have a pretty disappointing showing there. They beat Virtus Pro, but they lose to both Secret and Fnatic. Not really that good losses. Rough showing for them, but they've still won one of the last 2 majors. Going to the next major, the Manila Major, they're still considered a top team, but they're not considered the absolute top team. They're like, you know what? Let's beat some people. Let us beat some teams. At the Manila Major, they basically don't drop a single sets. Navi, they beat them 2-0. MVP 2-0. Newbie 2-1. Liquid 3-1. Bit of a slaughter. Very convincing tournament win from OG. Overall, though, they also go into ESL Frankfurt 2016. One of the big non-Valve events of the year. They pretty much lose. I think they lose 1 game there, because they have 4-0 in the groups. They beat Liquid 2-1 in the first round of the brackets. And they beat Navi 3-0 in the finals. Convincing finals slaughter. And there we go. Another tournament win for OG. So they're considered the favorite going. And they will actually get 3rd place at Epicenter as well. They do pretty well at Epicenter. But they lose to both Newbie and Liquid. I believe Newbie won that Epicenter. It might have been Liquid though, honestly. I probably should remember this. My bad. Regardless though, going into the International 6, they're considered one of the favorites, along with Liquid and Wings and Newbie as well. And I guess LGD as well. There's a lot of good teams at the time. Regardless though, OG is considered, I mean, they're a 2-time major. There's a lot of eyes on them, and they let the ball down. They do well in the group stage, 11-3 game score. But in their bracket, they lose to MVP Phoenix, who actually are pretty good at the tournament, but they should not be losing to, 1-2. In the lower bracket, they lose to TNC, David versus Goliath matchup, and the David won. They beat OG 2-0. Memes were born, and OG, they got 9th place at TI 6. Rough loss, but regardless, still a top 10 team. Convincing resume overall from them. Alright, so now we're moving into a bit more heavy hitters. We got the Navi team that played at TI2. Made up of Havost, of Dendy, of Light of Heaven, of Puppy at captain, and Ars Art, aka Smile, at support. I did mention them earlier as one of the significant teams that came out of the last Navi lineup, the one from TI1. Regardless, though, they look very good, and they are dominant over Europe. Looking at their top 4 placements, they placed top 4 in 13 of 16 tournaments, 81.3%. Their series record is 19-8, has 70.4% win rate over 27 sets, and honestly, that could have been a higher number, but at the time, tournament organizers were, how you say, terrible, and their formats included a lot of best of 1s, lots of bad formats, and as a result, they didn't get the chance to play as many best of 3s as they wanted. Regardless, though, this is a list of things they won and things they did well in. Lots of notable placings from Navi. They won the first 4 seasons of Starladder. That's right. Starladder 1, Starladder 2, Starladder 3, Starladder 4. Back to back to back to back. 4 in a row. That is an unequaled feat from really any tournament series ever. But that's okay. Navi won 4 Starladders. The best teams in Europe were at each one. Smackdown, 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 Smackdown. Beating teams like Empire, beating teams like MTW, and so on. They just beat these teams. Regardless, though, online, they play the defense, join Dota's premier tournament, they win that, Smackdown. They go to the ESWC 2011, they play eHome on LAN, They beat Ehome with Dendy Pudge. Convincing win. You go to ESWC 2012. They played Dignitas on LAN, the previous bottom team. Smacked them down on LAN. Once you go to DreamHack Summer, they actually lose this tournament to MTW, the team with fucking Mad and Cinder and those guys. Bit of an embarrassing loss, but still, they went to the finals. Pretty good there. They go to TI too. They're considered the Western favorite in that sense. Definitely not considered the favorite. One of the Chinese teams like IG or LGD. Regardless, though, they have a tough loss in the group stage. They start off with a 2-6 game score, but that's okay. And they're like, you know what? Let's go to winners bracket anyways. Let's pull it out. Let's clutch it out. They go to winners bracket, and in their bracket, the projected bracket is the Chinese Gauntlet. The bracket out of China is ready. Team DK, the third best Chinese team, is their first opponents. And the two best Chinese teams, IG and LGD, they are waiting further in the bracket. So if you're Na'Vi, you have to overcome great adversity to win these series. And what they have is great adversity. They play Team DK, 2-1 win, pretty routine though, pretty convincing 2-1. They face IG. So the first game of this winner bracket semifinals of TI2 between IG and Na'Vi. IG destroy Na'Vi. Na'Vi don't get a single kill. They GG out at like minute 17. They walk over them. It's looking like the Chinese juggernaut Invictus Gaming. Well, actually, fun fact, they actually go on to win that TI. But regardless, they're looking unstoppable. And Na'Vi, they have to bounce back. It's like, how can we beat China? And Puppy talked about the Naga counter. It's Light of Heaven with his BKB. They pick Light of Heaven off an Enigma. They pick Host a Juggernaut. That is not a meta hero. They take Dendy mid Rubik. They go with the Shaman and the Enchantress to finish up their lineup for support players. Puppy on the Ench, RR on the Shaman, and they execute the single most significant play in Dota 2 history, aka the play. I could probably recite it word for word if I really wanted to right now, but I'm not going to do word for word. But overall, this could be a complete disaster. Vacuum in, Ravage on 4, but they turned around. Black Hole from Light of Heaven. Ravage was stolen by Dendy, returned on 5. It's a complete disaster. Obviously, I'm more paraphrasing there, but Na'Vi, after being destroyed the previous game, they beat the Chinese juggernaut in the team fight. At the time, the Chinese teams are the most feared for their team fight coordination. But you know what? Oppa Na'Vi, they were ready, and they beat them. They go on to win Game 3. They go to the winners bracket finals where they have to face LGD. LGD have not dropped a single game. They are 18-0. But Na'Vi are like, okay, we'll lose for Game 1. That's okay, 19-0. And the next two games, hard-fought games. They have to beat the Xiaowei-led machine, LGD, in 2 successive games. And they do. So now Na'Vi's in the grand finals. All tournament, they've been doing the unthinkable. They've been giving the Chinese teams Naga Siren, top carry of the meta, with Song of the Siren, key team fight initiating and disengaging tool. The whole mentality was, the entire logic was, do not give Chinese team Naga Siren. Na'Vi gave them Naga Siren. They have DK Naga Siren, they have IG Naga Siren, they have LGD Naga Siren, and they beat all 3. In the grand finals, IG, it's the rematch. They want revenge. And Na'Vi, having won all tournament by giving Chinese teams Naga Siren, happened to pick Naga themselves. And then they lose. IG beats them 3-1 in the finals. And overall, IG, they go on to be the TI2 champion, and Na'Vi, they fall short. Overall, though, Na'Vi will go on to win some more online tournaments. They actually would have a pretty bad loss to Evil Geniuses, the team with Malk, B-Diz, Jo, and Demon at GMAC Winter 2012. But overall, solid stuff there. Na'Vi were a very convincing team. Because they never won the big tournaments, it's hard to place them higher than this at 9. Moving into the big hitters, though. Moving into 6 TI champions and the 2 most skilled lineups of all time. We have TI2 champion Invictus Gaming. Made up of Zoe at the carry, one of the Trinity, Ferrari 430, YYF, Chuan, and Faith. They actually only placed top 4 in 5 out of 9 tournaments. That is 55.6%. But I don't think that really tells the story of IG properly. Their series record was 17-9, which is 65.4% over 26 sets. It's respectable. It is respectable. That said, though, let's go into the finer points of IG's run. So, they win TI2. I've gone into great detail about the Navi end of TI2. I've explained the grand finals and the winner bracket semifinals in that sense. But going into TI2, IG is arguably the favorite, probably number 2 team though, behind LGD. They're considered very, very good. Regardless though, IG have, well, I'm going to say the greatest day in Dota 2 history. On the final day of TI2, they beat DK 2-1 in losers semis. They beat LGD 2-1 in losers finals. They beat Navi 3-1 in grands. Those are the 3 other best teams of the tournament. They beat them pretty much in quick succession. That is absolutely convincing. So basically what ends up happening is this is absolutely amazing from IG. They have the single greatest day in Dota 2 history. They win TI2. That alone is something. Looking at their other tournaments, they won the G League Season 2, they won WCG. The G League was the domestic Chinese tournaments. Had some good Chinese teams at it, they beat them all. WCG actually was a Nations Cup. That said, it had some good teams there. It had DK was there, Orange was there, some good Ukrainian, German mixed stacks were there, so that's a pretty significant win still. They got third place at the Alienware Cup. Lost to Navi and losers, and I honestly forgot I lost to it. They lost to Navi and losers. That's a bit of a rust off from the Alienware Cup. I believe they lost to Navi twice, actually. Yeah, they lost to Navi and winners and Navi and losers. And Navi did win the tournament, so it's a bit of a rough loss to lose to a champion twice and get third. They got 4th place in the G1 Champions League Season 4. They lost to champion LGD there. 5th to 6th in the G1 Champions League Season 5. Just a rough loss there. They got 6th place in the Super League. Some rough losses going on here. And they got 5th to 8th place in the Red Bull ECL 2013. But they do have TI3 coming up. It's like, alright, they have had some very great tournaments. Some of the best individual tournaments ever. But their consistency was lacking. So it's time to go into TI3 and say, you know what? Let's go back-to-back TI. Except they don't go back-to-back TI. They go to TI3. They do alright, but then they lose to Team DK in the first round of the upper bracket. In one of those games is very, very bad. I'm not going to call it very, very bad, but it was at the time the longest game in Dota 2 history. I believe it was game 2 of IG DK. Was a 98 and change minute game. IG and DK, neither team commits, neither team can finish the game off. Eventually, DK win the game? Honestly, neither team really won that game. Regardless, though, DK, they go on to win the series. And IG go loser bracket. IG, they beat some decent teams there, including Team Liquid, who just beat their countrymen, LGD. But then lose to Tongfu. And the Tongfu loss is very significant because, in a sense, Tongfu was always the lower rung Chinese team. They were always like the 4th best Chinese team, the 5th best Chinese team, always behind IG. IG were one of the kings of the scene, and then Tongfu beat them at TI. Embarrassing loss for them. And it's, they go out of 5th. And IG, after this disappointing result, they kick Zoe out. Chuan goes on like QQ or Weibo or something, flaming Zoe basically. And Chuan's like, alright, he gets kicked too from flaming Zoe. And now IG have to bring in 2 new players. Regardless, that's a different chapter. Going into the 7th team of all time, though, we have the Team Secrets of 2015, made up of Arteezy, S4, Zion the Offlane, Puppy, and Kuroki. They placed top 4 in 5 out of 7 tournaments. That is 71.4%. Their series record was 16-6. That is 72.7% for 22 sets. Very, very good win right there. But to understand why Secret is here, despite not winning a TI, spoiler alert, we need to go into the details of how these tournaments happened. Secret had a... Let's start at the beginning. Secret did a roster move after... Secret before this roster move were pretty good. They're like the 3rd or 4th best team in the world. But they were certainly behind VG Gaming, Evil Geniuses, and you could argue some more teams. Probably they were probably 3rd still. Regardless, though, Team Secret, they now had to deal with, alright, let's bring in some new talented players. Because Arteezy and Zai had internal problems, mostly Arteezy, at Evil Geniuses, and they wanted to go play in Secret. So Secret, they kick out No Tail, they kick out Misery, and they're like, you know what? Let's go be good. The first tournament they go to is the Dota Asian Championship 2015. They happen to lose this tournament. They in the group stage they go 15-0. They're perfect in the group stage, but in the bracket it's not that great. They look pretty good, but they have some losses. In the bracket they beat IG, but then they face against VG Gaming, the #1 team in the world. Very close series, but they lose that one 1-2. They go into losers actually, and they almost get 5th place in this tournament. They face Cloud9. And Cloud9 almost beat them! Cloud9 should have beat them! And then Cloud9 didn't buy teleport scrolls, and then Arteezy on Lycan killed their base, and then they couldn't TP to their base because they didn't have any TP scrolls. Regardless though, Secret go on, they beat Big God, the Chinese mixed stack with Burning, Lanem, and those guys. After that, Shao 8. And then they face EG in the lower bracket finals. And EG actually win that one. EG go on to win the tournament. Secret get 3rd. Still, solid debut tournament. A bit overshadowed by EG, but that's okay. They go to Starlighter Season 12 next, and that is embarrassing. They have some internal problems there. I think they had Zai drafting for that tournament. It was not good. They get 7th, 8th place. They lose to Team Malaysia, who were not that good. And then they lose to Alliance, who were not good at all. Alliance just picked Sniper for Pycat, and they somehow beat Secret, despite not being as good as Secret. But that's okay. The next span of tournaments is the most dominant... It's the most dominant forced tournament run of any team ever. Over the next 4 tournaments, which is the Rebel Battlegrounds... what was the order? The Rebel Battlegrounds, the Summit 3, the MDL Spring, ESL Frankfurt 2015. They win them all. And they win them all in convincing fashion. The game score in those 4 tournaments is 34-6. They win 4 fucking lands, losing 6 games total. This is unprecedented. This is amazing. Let's go into the tournaments. Rebel Battlegrounds. They beat IG in the finals 3-2. They dropped 2 of their maps there. Overall, group stage, they don't drop a single game. They go to Summit 3. They beat EG in the finals 3-1. They beat BG 2-1. EG 2-0. Group stage 4-0. Convincing wins. MDL Spring. They beat Empire in the finals 3-1. Early in the bracket, C9 2-0. eHome 2-0. Group stage 4-0. They go to ESL Frankfurt 2015. Huge LAN. They stomp teams here. Fnatic 2-0. IG, the previous ESL Frankfurt champion, 2-0. EG in the finals. They lose game 1, but in game 2, they come back, they break EG. Game 2 win, game 3 win, game 4 win, 3-1 win. They win 4 tournaments back to back, and they drop 6 games doing it. This is unbelievable. They are the undisputed #1 going into TI, considered one of the most skilled lineups to ever play. And that still is true. They are still one of the most skilled lineups to ever play. And then TI happens, and... Ooh, if there's any Secret fans out there, any Arteezy fans out there, they know what happened at TI5. It was bad. They lose TI5 in a very, very bad fashion. They don't even lose to the best teams of the tournament either, because 7th, 8th place. So they lose to... First round of the playoff bracket after going 11-3 in groups. They face eHome. They lose to eHome 0-2. They would have faced EG in the next round of the playoffs. You know, everyone wanted to see the EG Secret rematch. Everybody wanted to see the EG Secret rematch. But unfortunately, they lost to eHome. This is not a very good loss. Unfortunately, after that, they go into losers. They barely clutch out a series against IG 2-1. And it's like, alright, they're top 8 now. They play Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro, borderline top 10 team. No one expects them to win this series. So naturally, Virtus Pro wins the series. Virtus.pro actually beat Secret 2-1. Another David versus Goliath upset. They had 7th to 8th place, and they disband. They literally explode. Their team goes to 5 different places. Puppy stays with Secret. Kuroki goes to Liquid. Zai retires, actually, despite being 17 at the time. S4 goes back to Alliance, and RTZ goes back to EG. It was absolute explosion right there. And overall, that Team Secret, they were a very good team. One of the best teams at their peak of any team in the world. That 4 tournament span was absolutely impressive, but they could not clutch it out when it mattered the most. But it still is a good bit of merit to the point where they are good enough to be number 7 on this list. Going into number 6, we have the TI4 champion. We have Newbie. So going into Newbie, this was not the most long-lived team, but they were very, very good. So they placed top 4. They had Hao, Mu, Xiao8, the captain, Banana, and Sanshang. In a sense, Newbie was designed to counter DK. When Newbie was made, DK was the number 1 team in China. They were the number 1 team in the world. IG were very good, but not good enough to beat DK most of the time. So Newbie was made. It's like, alright, these 2 top teams from China, DK and IG, have a lot of talent on them. We're Newbie. Let's take whatever we can get. Because the legendary captain Xiao8, let's go win some tournaments. And that's what they did, actually. They won some tournaments. They placed top 4 in all 7 tournaments they played in that were significant, 100%. Their series record was 14-5. That's a 73.7% win rate over 19 sets. Good stuff to them. Let's go into the details here. So, let's go into these smaller tournaments first. They got first place in the MDL 2014. They beat LGD, they beat DK, good stuff there. They got second place in the ECL Spring 2014. They lose to DK actually 1-2, despite having a 1-game advantage from the upper bracket. Bit embarrassing there, but still second place. Good spot there. They have third place at WPC 2014, WPC Ace Tournament. They lose to IG. And Alliance, IG actually went on to beat DK in the finals of that tournament, so they lose to the champion. Not a bad showing. They beat Alliance in the third place decider, because Alliance actually was there for that tournament. They got second place at the V Games, second place at the CDEC New Star Challenge, third place at the GEST Challenge, but overall IG and DK win those tournaments. They didn't look that great there. Going into TI4, they're considered good, but not number 1. They're considered like a number 4, number 5 caliber team, probably. They were considered a number 4 to 5 caliber team. And Newbie, they almost busted out of this tournament. They were this close to going out in the group stage, getting bottom 8s, and this overall not being a very historically significant lineup. Because if you look at this roster, look at this this body of work, replace first place at TI4 with, say, 12th place at TI4. Nobody remembers who Newbie is. But this TI4 is just... it's something else. So, group stage, they are 1 game from elimination. And they have to win every single game up in the group stage. And they win every single game. And even then, they still have to win tiebreakers. They beat LGD, and they beat the Mouse Sports, the European lineup with Fata, in the tiebreaker. So now they have to go on a bubble bracket race. So they beat Titan, they beat Navi, and they beat IG. They're now in the upper bracket of top 8. They beat Vici Gaming 2-1. They beat EG in Losers Finals 2-0. And they finally beat Vici Gaming 3-1 in the Grand Finals. Convincing win. They were at the brink of defeat, and they said, you know what? We are Newbie. We are not going to be simply a footnote in the annals of Dota 2 history. We are going to become TI champions. And Xiao8 retires. They bring in Xiao Tuji, who actually was the best player in LGD at the time. And they should have been good, and then they weren't good, but that's okay. Newbie still are the 6th best team of all time on my rankings. So now we're going in to the meat and the bones, the top 5 teams of all time. And we have the only current team in the top 5, Team Liquid, with Matumba Man at Gary, Miracle in the middle lane, Mind Control in the off lane, GH as support, and Kuroki at support and captain. They have so far up to ESL 1 Hamburg, placed top 4 in 8 out of 10 tournaments. That is an 80% stuff right there. Series record, it's 22-8. That's a 73.3% win rate. If we're being honest, I probably could have placed them 1 or 2 spots higher, but I'm trying to be a bit more cautious in that sense and let history decide, alright, if Liquid actually is better than, say, 5th in all time, they will prove it over the next 6 months. They have time to prove that. Regardless, though, let's go into the individual tournament details of the TI7 champion. So they won TI7, and they had a plethora of other good roster results. The team didn't look that good initially, but they actually didn't have GH at first. They had Bulba. So eventually they replaced Bulba with GH, and they eventually go on to win Dream League Season 7, Dream League Season 8. I mean, once again, not the most stacked tournaments, but they beat the former Digital Chaos team, now known as Planet Odd. The Digital Chaos, along with Weeha, like a second at TI the year previous. They beat them at Dream League Season 7. And it's overall some good stuff going on there. They go to... Actually, it might have been... I think I might have made a mistype. I believe that's actually Season 6 Dream League, not Season 8 Dream League. Regardless, they destroy Season 6 Dream League. Not really that many good teams there, but they sold out a tournament anyways. They got first place at the Starlighter I-League Invitational number 2. They beat TNC in the finals, IG in the earlier stages of the bracket, and they beat the group stage 4-0. They get first place at the Starlighter I-League Star Series Season 3, where they beat Vici Gaming in the finals, Vici Gaming J in the finals 2-1, and then, 3-1, and they beat Wings and Vici J early in the tournament 2-0 and 2-1 respectively. They get 9th place at the Dota Asian Championship 2017. A bit of a bad loss actually. They go to the lower bracket from group stage, and they lose to Team Faceless actually in the best of 1. Bit of a bad loss there. Regardless though, they have a major to say, you know what, let's be good. They go to the Kiev major. They don't look that good at the Kiev major. They look alright in the group stage. They go in the bracket. They beat Newbie. Solid win 2-1. But then they face IG 1-2. Bad loss. Regardless though, they have some more tournaments going into TI, including Epicenter. They win Epicenter actually over EG in the finals. They beat EG 3-1. They beat LFY, LGD Forever Young, in the semifinals 2-0. LGDFY go on actually to get top 3 of the next TI. They also beat Virtus Pro as well, so they got some really solid wins at Epicenter. So now we're going into TI7. They're arguably the favorite, but they're not a undisputed favorite. They're disputed by a lot of teams going into TI7. And they have a very rough loss in the first round of the winner bracket. They do good in groups, 13-3, but in the bracket they lose first round to Invictus Gaming 1-2, and they are thrown into one of the they're thrown into a very stacked losers bracket. They beat Team Secret 2-1, Empire 2-0, VP 2-1, barely by the way, LGD 2-0, LFY 2-1, and finally Newbie in the finals 3-0. And Team Liquid became the TI7 champions. After that, after TI7, they've still looked pretty good. They went to the Starlighter I-League Invitational number 3. They won that over... Who did they win that over? They won that over Mineski. They won over Secrets. That's a pretty good win there. They beat them both in sets 3-1, 2-0 respectively. They went to ESL Hamburg 2017. They were projected to win, but they actually ended up losing to Team Secret in the semifinals 1-2. BP go on to win the event, but still top 4 of the event. Pretty good. They have circuit points for that. And Team Secret is one of those teams that, or not Team Secret, Team Liquid is one of those teams that they still are active. So much like Virtus Pro, who are further down in the rankings, they have the chance to improve their fate. They could say, you know what, let's go win 5 more lands. Let's go win TI8 for sure, back-to-back TI winners. And you know what, that would definitely catapult them up this list. But for now, I'm going to err on the conservative side and put them only at 5th. But that said, there are arguments to put them as high as 4 or 3. That said, let's move into number 4. And that is Wings Gaming. So, we're getting into like the really heavy hitters now as we get further up this list. Wings Gaming, they are the TI6 champions, made up of Shadow, Blink, Faith Beyond, Y/Innocence, and Ice Ice. They placed top 4 at 10 out of 16 tournaments. That's 62.5%. Their series record is 29-20. That's 59.2% over 49 sets. That said, though, they actually they were a very long team in essence. They played for almost 2 years. They went from late 2015 to around almost the middle of 2017. That is almost 2 years right there. That is nearly unprecedented longevity. And they actually kind of did saturate their placements, top 4 placements in series record stats. Had they gone the newbie route and pretty much disbanded after they won TI, those stats almost certainly would be higher. And by almost certainly, I mean they would be higher. That said, though, let's look at the actual placements of Wings Gaming. So Wings Gaming, they have some rough losses, but they have some very, very good wins on this list. Let's go into the non-DAP tournaments first. So they won ESL 1 Manila 3-0 in the finals over Liquid. They beat Empire as well at the tournament. Good win. They won Summit 5. Beat OG 3-1, OG 2-0, Liquid 2-1, Na'Vi 2-1. Very, very good Summit win. They win Northern Arena, the beat Invitational. They actually end up beating Team NP in the finals. So they beat NP again earlier in the bracket as well as eHome. Pretty good tournament win there. But overall, not the highest ranked of teams. I mean, there's only pretty much like eHome, NP, and EG were there. They went to the Nanyang Championships Season 2. They got second place, losing to Newbie in the finals 2-3. But they did beat Newbie earlier in the tournament 2-1, as well as they beat Empire and some other teams pretty convincingly. They go to ESL 1 Genting 2017. They lose to Newbie in the bracket 1-2 after being a very good group stage. They go to the Summit 6. They lose to EG 1-2, and they lose to the champions Virtus Pro actually 0-2. But they also get some solid wins there over NP and over Digital Chaos. They're more bottom end of the top 10 ranked teams, but it's still solid 2-0 wins there. They're showing they can beat the lesser tier teams. At the WCA 2015, actually, it's a very retro tournament in that sense. We're talking 2015 here, almost before they were considered a top team. They got 4th place at the WCA. Nobody expected them to get top 4 at the time, but regardless, they lose to Alliance and Liquid, but they're still pretty good to get there. They beat the Leviathan team actually, who traveled from NA to China to play there. They actually barely beat Leviathan, the team with not the team with Banana Slam Jam, but the team with the Jenkins and Flying Zebra and Nusham and those guys. They actually almost get top 4 at the tournament, and that would have been pretty cool. But regardless, Wings get that there. Wings end up playing in one major before TI6. That is the Manila major. After their win at ESL 1 Manila, they were considered a very high-ranked team going into the Manila major. And they disappoint completely. They do badly in the groups, and they proceed to lose to Complexity, actually, in the first round of the bracket. And that's a rough placement for a team expected to win the major. That said, they go to TI6. They win TI6. And they win it in a very convincing fashion. In the bracket, they beat Digital Chaos, who go to the finals 2-1. They beat MVP Phoenix 2-0. They beat EG in the winner bracket finals convincingly 2-0. And finally, they beat Digital Chaos 3-1 in the grand finals. The only game they lose actually was the game they picked Techies and Pudge, which is definitely considered a very unconventional, dare I say, bad strategy. But I digress. Wings win this tournament. And the legend of Wings could end there. They would still be a very good all-time team, because this is a very, very good stretch of tournaments they played. But they say, you know what? Let's keep playing. We're not going to end. So this is when the Summit 6 happens. This is when the North Arena Beat Invitational happens. They still have some decent showings, but then they have to go to the Boston Major. They're considered definitely one of the top 3 teams. I would consider them the number 1 team at the time. But they're the top teams along with EG and Virtus Pro going into this tournament. And it's like, alright, Wings Gaming, let's go win the Boston Major. But the problem is, they get absolutely screwed by the bracket at the Boston Major. They got 9th to 16th, but they had evil geniuses in the first round of the bracket. This is, I mean, at the time, this is the number 2 ranked team in the world. So the number 1 and the number 2 ranked team in the world were they were in the first round of a 16-team tournament. And it's only happened. Usually you'd be able to recover, but this is a single elimination tournament. So as a result, 19th and 16th, rough loss, 4 wings. And they go to Kiev. They go to Dota Asian Champions 2017. Once again, they get EG, first round in the bracket. They lose to EG, 9th to 12th place, rough loss there. They go to Kiev Major, actually. Turns out the organization, the Wings Gaming organization, has been screwing them out of money. As a result, Wings don't even play as Wings at this tournament. They play as, I believe it was Team Random. And they, once again, they're like, alright, Kiev Major, let's do some good stuff. We're good at Dota. Let's do some good stuff. Let's go win a tournament. The problem is they get OG in the first round of the bracket. You know, the OG team that just won the last major. They have them in the first round of the brackets. So they actually have a very close series against OG. They lose 1-2. And OG, they go on after beating the Wings team, the random team, to win the tournament. And the Wings never play another tournament again, actually. But overall, this was a very up and down road. The highs were very, very good for Wings Gaming, including a TI 6 win. And that's why I've chosen to put them at 4th in my rankings. So now moving on to 3rd place, top 3. The highest ranked NA team on my list, Evil Geniuses of 2015. Made up of Fear, Sumail, Universe, AUI 2000, and PPD. Their top 4 placements, they placed top 4 in all but one tournament. That is, or all but one significant tournament. That is 6 out of 7, 85.7%. Their series record was 19-7. That's 73.1% over 26 sets. That is a very, very good series record. Very few teams, I believe only Newbie and I guess actually the Navi TI1 team that had 2 sets are higher ranked than this on this list in that particular metric. That said though, let's move into the individual tournaments of Evil Geniuses. Because Evil Geniuses, they showed up the most on the 2 most important tournaments of their lives. Or sorry, not of their lives, but of that actual competitive season. That said, though, the first tournament they ever played in was DAC 2015. Actually, they played a small LAN called the D2L before that, but the D2L wasn't really that important. It was a very, very low tier LAN, very poorly run. I'm not really going to include that. That said, though, the DAC is the first real LAN they play in. This is like 2 weeks after forming their new roster. Sumail's never played a tier 1 LAN before. They just brought in AUI 2000 as well. This team isn't really expected to do that well. And they win the damn tournament. They go and they win the tournaments. This is insane. So, how they get there? They do 11-4 in the group stage, top 4 in the group stage, pretty good. They beat Navi, top 10 team, 2-1. They beat Big God, I believe. Yeah, they beat Big God in the winner's bracket semifinals, 2-1. And then they faced Vici Gaming in the winner bracket finals. In Vici, they beat them 0-2, but it's okay. Evil Geniuses, Peter Pan Dam, they love their losers bracket. They face Secret, actually. They face Secret. In Secret, they have Arteezy and Zai, the 2 players that just left them, you know, like 2 weeks ago for Team Secret. The 2 traitors. In EG, they get their revenge. They beat Team Secret 2-0. And now they have to run back against Vici Gaming in the finals. It's a 3-0 slaughter. Smack, 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 smack. DAC win for Sumail. He's just too good, in his own words. That said, though, Sumail Storm Spirit was absolutely legendary. And they got a very solid DAC win. Sumail's first real LAN is a $3 million win. So now, going into the next tournaments, they got some second places. And they get second places pretty much at the hands of Team Secret. They go to the MOT Season 1, they actually lose to Empire in the Grand Finals, but they still get wins over Ninjas in Pajamas team, the Swedish one with Era and Johannesson fan. They get actually, I probably should say Limp as well. Limp is pretty good. That said, they got a 2-0 win over MVP Phoenix, pretty good. Lose Empire in the finals. They go to the Summit 3. They lose to Secret in the finals, but they still beat Vici Gaming and LGD. They go to ESL Frankfurt. They lose to Secret in the finals. There's a trend here. They beat Virtus Pro and Vici Gaming, though. Solid wins in these tournaments. They go to the MLG Season 2 finals. They actually they have their only tournament. They don't place top 4. It's a real tournament. They lost in the group stage to Alliance. Obviously the Swedish team of TI3 fame and so on. But this lineup is like, they don't have S4 anymore. They're no longer the top tier team. They're still pretty decent. And then they lose to London Conspiracy. Now, most people in the Dota scene have no idea who London Conspiracy is. See, London Conspiracy is basically the team that will become Ad Finum a year and a half or so later. Not even a year and a half, more like a year later. At this time, they didn't have the exact same lineup. They got second at the Boston Major, though. They had Kaiser Sosa, now with Hellraisers on that team. They had, I think they had 3 of the 5 players. They didn't have Thug yet, and Thug was a very influential player for the Greek players to become good. That said, though, they get the upset win over EG here. EG gets 5th and 6th place, but that's okay. And they got a win at Dota Pit. Pretty solid win there. They beat C9 in the finals 3-0. They beat Virtus Pro 3-0. Good tournament win there. But now, the biggest tournament of the year, the International Numero 5, the International 2015 number 5. Secret are the number 1 undisputed team going into this tournament, but EG, they're a pretty solid number 2. And say if Secret implodes at this tournament, wink wink nudge nudge, then EG will be the favorites to win the tournament. And they actually do win the tournaments. So, in the group stage, they go 10-4, they win their group. They actually, they pick to face Complexity in the bracket first. They beat Complexity 2-0. They face eHome in the winter semis. That probably should have been Secret, but Secret got upset. They beat eHome 2-1. They face CDEC in the winter bracket finals. CDEC come off of some upset wins over C9 and LGD. They lose to them actually 0-2. But they get LGD in the lower bracket finals. They beat them 2-0. And finally, they get their run back against CDEC, CDEC. They beat them 3-1. And EG bring home the Aegis to North America. Let's go. And after this tournament, the AUI 2000, RTZ comes back, and then they never get the chance to spoil their very good performances by being bad. That said, though, EG number 3 on this list because their peak was amazing. They won TI, they won DAC, the 2 biggest tournaments. Overall, they're still pretty consistent. All tournaments but one. I mean, top 2 they placed even. They won best of 3 and best of 5 series consistently over the top teams of their era and are truly deserving of this top 3 spot on my list. But now, as a preface, there's 2 teams left. For anybody who knows anything about the 2013, 2014 sort of era of the Dota scene, people know these 2 teams are going to be Alliance and DK. So there actually is a bit of a logic to picking both. I honestly do believe they are the 2 best teams of all time. It depends on what criteria you want to use as to which one is better. I chose Alliance as a better one, which means Team DK is my number 2 team of all time. As Burning at the carry, Mushi at the mid lane, Ice at the off lane, and Lanham and MNY on supports. Looking at the merits of DK, though, they are great. They placed top 4 in every single significant tournament. 16 and 16. That is a 1-0-0. 100% for them. Absolutely amazing. Their series record was 32 and 10. That is a 76.2% win rate over 42 sets. That's not only a solid body of work, number-wise, but that is the highest win rate of any team with more than 2 sets played. That is absolutely bonkers. And going into the individual tournaments, this is them on their world tour of getting good tournament placements. So, DK was formed as like this Asian super team. They brought in Mushi from Malaysia and Ice from Singapore to join the Chinese players Burning, MMY, and Lanham to win stuff. And they proceeded to win many tournaments. So, they actually end up playing in the many domestic Chinese tournaments over the lifespan, such as the Fangyan Tournament, such as the ECL Spring 2014, such as the Cena Supernova Cup. They win these. They go play the G League. At the G League, they do very, very well there as well. They win this tournament. At the G League, they win over the finals against IG, 3-0. They beat Tongfu, 2-0. They don't lose a game all tournaments. In the WPC Ace League finals, it's actually a best-of-7 finals, which is pretty... We don't really see that nowadays, but they had that for that format. They had to face IG again in the finals. IG went up 3-0 in a best-of-7 finals. In DK, they won 4 games in a row. And they go on to win that tournament. That said, DK, they're not perfect. They go to MLG Columbus in Ohio. They beat Navi in the bracket. They have the top facing of any team in the group stage. But they lose to Speed Gaming, the former KaiP team, with Eternal Envy and RTZ and AY 2000. They lose to those guys. They get second place. Very, very close finals, though. One of the greatest series Dota ever played. Highly would recommend it. They lose WPC 2014. They lose to IG in the finals, best-of-7 there. They go to the Summit 1. They lose to Team EG in the finals. Evil Genius's first significant tournament win. They lose that finals, though, 3-2. Very, very close finals. And even then, DK still has some good wins over Vici Gaming and Fnatic. Good wins there, despite losing EG in the finals. What else? Let me think. That's about it. They also go to the Starladder... Oh, 1 hour tournament. One very significant tournament that... Oh, I almost forgot for some reason that's even on the screen here is Starladder Season 9. This was, at the time, a very significant tournament. There wasn't the same kind of major circuit that we saw nowadays. Well, Starladder 9 functioned as a very significant international LAN, where the best international teams, they coalesced at, I believe it was Kiev, Ukraine, for Starladder Season 9. So they had the best European teams there, and also EG, undisputed #1 NA team, and IG and DK, the 2 best Chinese teams. So this is a very, very stacked tournament field, considering it also had Navi, Empire, and Alliance, who were the 3 best European teams at the time. And DK won this tournament in such an amazing fashion. They did not drop a single game. Group stage, they have Empire and Alliance in their group. They go 3-0. Upper bracket, IG 2-0, EG 2-0. Grand Finals, Empire 3-0. Burning actually plays 10 different heroes, and they win all 10 games. They're showing versatility on the individual level. They're outskilling their opponents. They're out drafting. They have the coordination, the team play. They are winning all these tournaments. And DK throughout the year looked absolutely amazing. They won tournament after tournament after tournament, domestically and abroad. And when they didn't win, they still looked very good. They got second or they got third. They had top 4 placements no matter what happened. But now we have to ask, what happened with Team DK at TI4? And this is an absolute and utter tragedy. See, what ends up happening with Team DK is these are players that came together for one sole purpose: win TI. And unfortunately for them, they did not win TI. What happens at TI4 is they did decently in the group stage, they go to the upper bracket, but the problem is in the first round of the playoffs, they face Evil Geniuses. And they actually lose there. They lose to EG in the upper bracket semis. They go to the lower bracket, they face their countrymen in LGD. Should be a routine win. They were definitely a better team than LG at the time. And it's a close win, 2-1 over LGD. DK are looking a bit shaky. Rumors come out at the time that other Chinese teams were refusing to scrim them because they just didn't like DK. They didn't want DK to win anymore. So DK were lacking the proper practice partners going into these tournaments. But it's okay. DK can still win. It's the lower bracket semifinals. They have Vici Gaming. In Vici Gaming, by the way, they have Super and ROTK. They're both rejects from the DK team who were kicked out to make the Super team. But now the rejects, Super... I mean, it's actually a team full of rejects. It's Super, ROTK, and Sylar, all players who got kicked out of the other top Chinese teams. And they beat Team DK. They beat the Juggernaut. They beat the arguable best team to ever play Dota. And it's over. Team DK's TI run's over. And they fall there. Even despite Burning playing anti-mage against Feature Gaming, his signature hero, it's not enough. They lose. It's over in Team DK. They do not get the crown. They do not get the top gem on their crown. It forever misses the #1 at TI. It's very, very unfortunate. That almost would have been the ideal end to the story, but Team DK do not win TI. Overall, though, they still are, at peak, probably the best team of all time. They had an insane consistency, and they certainly are one of the best teams to ever play Dota. I have them ranked at #2 for very good reasons in that sense. But now, going into #1, this is the TI3 champions, the Kings of the North, the Swedes, Alliance, made up of Loda, S4, Admiral Bulldog, EGM, and Ake. It's a team that stayed together for a little over a year and a half, from very early 2013 to late 2014. They placed top 4 in 24 of 29 tournaments. That is 82.6%. Their series record was 45-21. That's a 68.2% win rate, which isn't the greatest, but over 66 sets. That is an insane volume. Alliance played throughout many different eras because they simply were a very long-lasting team. There's 2 distinct Alliance eras. Well, we'll talk about the latter one first, because latter Alliance was not as interesting. This is the post-TI3 Alliance. This is after they won a TI. But after they won a TI, they still have some decent placings, such as 5th to 6th at LG Columbus. Once again, pretty good tournament. They got 5th to 6th there. They got 12th at TI4. It's a very disappointing TI4 placement there. Regardless, though, they have some decent top 4 placings. I thought it was at ESL Frankfurt 2014, where they beat Cloud9. And at WPC 2014, where they got top 4 there. After TI as well, they also played 2 Starlighters. They played Starlighter Season 9 and Starlighter Season 8. They got 2nd place at both. Lose to Navi in both their grand finals. They still do win Dream League Season 1. That's pretty good. But there's a big difference between this Alliance and the Alliance that was before TI3. So, Alliance from the spring of 2013 to TI3 were #1. They were the kings of the scene. Basically dropped like 1 series to Quantic Gaming, and otherwise they were pretty much undefeatable. So they go to China for the G1 Champions League Season 5. They beat up China, convincing win. They go to DreamHack Summer. They win DreamHack Summer pretty convincingly there. They go to win Invitational in Bucharest. They win that pretty convincingly. They go to Starlighter Season 5 and Starlighter Season 6 finals. They go there. They win both of those. They go to the TI3. They've won all these tournaments in a row. They are the favorite, and they act like the damn favorite. They beat up TI3 like no one's business. So in the group stage, they go 14-0. They do not drop a single game. And actually, they make it to winners finals, only dropping 1 game to Team DK, with Burning playing his signature anti-mage. So in the winners finals, they are 18-1. They face Navi. You know, the Navi is very, very good at Dota. The one that will go on to face them again in the grand finals was one of the great teams of all time. They beat them 2-0 convincingly. They picked the Chen. They picked Naga Siren. They outdraft. I mean, S4 outdraft Puppy so hard. And Puppy's one of the great drafters to ever play Dota. And S4 outthinks him so hard. Regardless, though, Alliance, they're looking great going to the grand finals. But Navi, they wake up. They are on the rebound, and they want a comeback. They want to actually beat Alliance. In Navi, they come close. They bring it to a game number 5. That's 2-2 game score. And Navi is winning game number 5. But Alliance, they do not crumble under pressure. Despite S4 on Puck having no money. Despite Loda on CK having not enough items. They don't care. They do not give up this game for anything. And what they end up doing is they out-execute. Bulldog, on Nature's Prophet, has the single greatest game of his career execution-wise in the late game. He outmaneuvers the Navi team. They take the Aegis over Dendi, kill TA in the pit, Dendi's TA in the pit, they get the Aegis. S4 on the Puck, with the amazing Dream Coils, allows Alliance with Bulldog riding in one lane, with Loda and EGM on CK and Wisp riding in the other lane, take 2 lanes of barracks. And S4 with the second amazing $1 million Dream Coil on Puppy's Enigma and Dendy's TA allows Alliance to take the Na'Vi throne, the Na'Vi Ancient, and win TI3. Very, very convincing win. And in a sense, Alliance are unique in other TI winners. I mean, with the exception of Na'Vi at TI1, which was very early in the game's lifespan, it was the first ever TI, the first ever TI, so I'm not really going to count that in a sense. Every other team who was the absolute favorite going into TI never won. At TI2 was LGD, they lost. TI3 it was Alliance, they won. But TI4 it was DK, they lost. TI5 Secret, lost. TI6 probably Liquid, and they lost. TI7 you can argue a bunch of different needs. I would probably argue Newbie, and they lost. But Alliance actually managed to win. Every single team in the world was scouting them. They were looking at Alliance with their Lone Druid, and their Nature's Prophet, and their Wisp, and their Chen, and they knew, going into the tournament, exactly what Alliance were going to pick. Every team in the world had strategies upon strategies, counters upon counters, prepared for Alliance. And most teams under that much pressure would crumble. Especially teams like Alliance. Alliance is not the most individually skilled team. You look at these names, these are not the most skilled names in the world. So they can't even fall back on individual skill. But even then, they had the team play. They had the strategy. They outmaneuvered their opponents. Everyone in the world was prepared for them, and it didn't matter. Them playing at their peak was enough to win TI3. It was an absolutely beautiful tournament run from them. And as a result, I put Alliance as the #1 team to ever play Dota. Well played to them. Whew. Just a full list. That's a little quick list of reference with a couple of honorable mentions for teams I almost put in the list, but ultimately decided to cut. I didn't think their statistics were, in their context, were as good as the other teams on this list. From Virtus Pro at 20 to Alliance at 1. We have 11 European teams, 6 Chinese, and 3 NA. This is photo credits for all the photos I used during this presentation of the top 20 teams from Dota 2 of all time. Thanks for watching. You can find me on the YouTube where you're watching this video, or you can find me at twitch.tv/BadgerPablo or twitter.com/BadgerDota2. Hope you enjoyed. Please leave a comment if you agree, if you disagree, if you have any thoughts on these rankings. Thanks for watching.